Welcome back. For this stage we're gonna be needing a couple number of files. I'm gonna be showing you how you can load your custom patterns contains your resource folder. First of all, let's just bring up our exercise files. Start in the background 3. Open it up. If you're following up, you should already know how we got into this stage. How we got to this stage. First of all, I'm gonna show you how to create color variations of this very layout, this very background. This will give you literally tones of different sides depending on the color. So I'm gonna show you how to make changes to this background now, so you can have different color options based on what you want or what you want to use it for. So I'm going to select my move tool. I'm going to select this background layer, and I'm going to go back into my layers palette. Then go into blending options for this active layer. Select color overlay, and I'm just going to change it to something a little bit more eye friendly. Say this color, still a bit unlike the tone. Okay, this should do it. Note my reference numbers for this color. Click on OK. Just gonna zoom it to actual pixels. I'm also gonna change this green background. To do this, I'm gonna select my move tool and show you how to select selected and set on layers. Click on the move tool. Click on this active layer. This active layer over here. Then this layer, go back to the layer, double click on the effects button, open the blending option. They're going to change the color overlay to a color containing the background. Okay, so always try to pick your colors from colors you already have as much as possible. That if it is possible, always try to use colors that you already have, so you don't have different shades of colors. Now imagine if I wanted to do this and I had come over to my color palette once more when I had to change this color, and I chose something like this. Note how the difference is clear from the background. It's very difficult to get the exact tone of color that will actually blend into the colors of this background and make the background look like one image. But if you select the color from the colors you already have, let's say this one, you're going to have this. And if you select, say, this one, you're also going to have something like this. So you see this? So I'm just going to go with a bright color. You go OK on that. So that's basically that. So we're going to work with this blue for this design. You all agree with me that this is more eye friendly than our initial color choice. Okay, so always feel free to experiment, try out different things, see what you come up with. Trust me, you always find out new things in Photoshop. Okay, so now we're going to create our ribbon. Let's just bring back our guides so we see where we placed our header guide. Okay, this is where we placed it. Recall I told you in the first video that these guides are not fixed. You can easily move them if you want as the need presents itself. So I'm just going to place it somewhere here. I'm following no rule whatsoever. I'm just using my tuition, my own idea. I'm just like, okay, this is how I want my header to be. This is how large I want my header to be. Okay. So if you're wondering if there's any rule as to the measurement of the height of your header, that's generally up to you. Well, generally most people usually use 300 pixels for height, and the width just depends on the page, on what you have in mind. So we're going to draw in our ribbon. It's going to start from somewhere here and terminate somewhere here. Okay. Now to do this, I'm going to need you to bring up your pen tool. The pen tool, you select the pen tool with the P. Either press P on your keyboard or locate the pen tool along the icons you have on your tools menu, or you just simply press P. Click and hold it down to bring up the dialog box and select the pen tool. Now ensure this option right over here is selected, the path selector. when you use this in drawing, what it does necessarily is just going to draw an empty part for you. Sorry, Ctrl Z. The pencil is going to do this. So we're going to use the triangle tool. Come down here, select the triangle tool instead, the rectangle tool instead. Sorry, you can do this using the U shortcut key U on your keyboard, and select it. Ensure the part is selected right over here. Part selector is selected and not either one of these. If you use this, it's going to do a bitmap fill for you when you draw. It's just going to fill it up with color. I advise you try it out and see how it works and the effect it has. You can always, if you're trying out new things, you can, and you feel you lost direction and you want to go back to the last point where you felt safe. What you could do is to go into your Windows palette, your Windows option menu, and locate history. Locate the history palette. This will always like help you to retrace your steps back. This is how the steps we've taken so far. This is a very useful menu. You could always retrace your steps back. So don't be scared of trying out new things. Try out new things and see how they turn out. Okay. So okay, that said about that, we're gonna just draw in our ribbon. I'm actually aiming at drawing from the point where this outline ends to the point where this outline ends, right over here. Okay, so I'm just going to do Ctrl Z and draw all over again. No, let's zoom it in so we can have precise pixel perfect measurement. And I'm going to select my triangle tool again, and I'm just going to do this. So drag it all the way to the ending. I'm going to drag it all the way to the ending. Okay, to the ending right here. Okay, so we're going to select our zoom tool again and zoom back to actual pixels. Click on fit screen, click on actual pixels. Okay, so now we have this. Now what I want you to do is this. I want you to go over to your layers palette. Recall how we do go there. Click on the layers tool, or we go under Windows, select layers, and basically click on uppermost layer and create a new layer. You're going to name this layer ribbon for easy reference. You're going to name it ribbon. Then under your layers palette, there's a tab called the parts. Just click on it once. You're going to see a layer under there called the work part. Make sure it's selected. Now look downwards. You're going to find this fill tool. This is a fill tool. First of all, I advise you ensure the layer, the top uppermost layer for the ribbon is selected first. Choose a color you want to use. Let's just choose a color we can easily see. Let's just say something like this. Let's just say black. That should be enough. Now go into your parts and click on your fill tool. This is what we just did. We just used a part tool as a selection tool in place of a selection tool. It all depends on you and what you want to do. Okay, so I'm just gonna click on this. Or alternatively, if you don't want to go through using the part tool, I'm just gonna go back. Let me go through my history and retrace my steps back. Retrace my steps back before I drew the rectangle. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the direct selection tool. I'm gonna use the rectangular marquee tool right over here to draw that box in place. You can use any one. It all depends on you and what you're comfortable working with. But generally, I always use parts for my selection due to the ease of working. I could easily style each part the way I want it and how I like it. That's why I always use a part as a marquee tool whenever I'm working. But that's for me. For you, it might just be different. Now go into your layers palette. Click on the ribbon. You recall we retraced our steps back to where before we do the rectangle tool, and we created a new layer after we drew the rectangle tool. So when we retraced our steps, we lost that ribbon layer. So you're gonna click on your uppermost layer, create a new layer. Click on it, rename it ribbon. Once more. Now go into your path palette, ensure you have a color is chosen, your foreground color that you can easily see. No, not that. Ensure a color you can easily see is chosen. Then locate the fill tool, the paint bucket tool in your tools menu. Paint bucket tool to fill, or use the shortcut key Alt Delete to fill your selection with a color. Ctrl D. Now we're going to load in our custom brushes. We're going to load in the brushes we're going to load in the patterns contained in our resource folder. You're just going to open up your resource folder. This is my own resource folder. This is the resource folder contained in your tutorial files. And just locate where you have patterns. Right in there, you're going to see this. You're going to see this icon called pattern, named pattern. Just double click on it and wait for it to load. Though you don't see anything happening now after double clicking on it, what just happened is we've just successfully loaded all the patterns contained in that file into Photoshop. So when we do this, when we go into our blending option and click on pattern overlay, you're going to have all the patterns that were contained in that file right here. These are basically all the patterns I always use for my work, and they're all contained here. So feel free to use them as you want. Experiment with them. I'm always using them, especially these ones right over here, from here to these points over here. They are very, very useful patterns. They are called pixel patterns. It gives you the kind of finishing you won't get from any other package when you're working in any other package. But for this ribbon, the pattern we're going to be using for this ribbon, it's not this flower pattern I selected. That's just basically the one that's the default pattern that was there initially. So we're going to be using this red pattern. Just locate the pattern called horizontal band. Click on it. Either one of them. Just use any one that feels suits you most. We're going to be using this pattern. And okay. This is going to be our ribbon. Now this is the power of Photoshop. We just successfully applied a pattern that has a color tone to it, to our ribbon element. Okay. So I'm just going to go back there and apply a few more styling. I'm going to stroke it. 3 pixels is too much. Let's just take it down to, let's say, 1 pixels. And this color, nope, it's not going to work. We're going to go with a very bright red color. What this does is essentially, it gives the ribbon a feel of reflection. And we're also going to add an inner glow to it. Change the inner glow from screen mode to multiply mode. Change the color to black. And then you're just going to extend this a little bit. No, not the choke, the size. We're going to extend this a little bit. Okay. Here's what we have. Just click on OK. So now we successfully design our very own ribbon. Now, if you also bought the graphics pack, if you go into your graphics pack, there's a module for ribbons. There's a module for ribbons. You have a whole lot of collection of ribbons are already pre-designed for you. All you need to do is just to cut them and use them. I'm going to show you how you could make use of the ribbons contained in the graphics pack for your work. Just open up the folder, locate the folder for ribbons in your graphics pack, open it up, and here you have it. You have loads of ribbons contained here, like several different designs of ribbon. See this? These are all different ribbons for you to try out. So try out any one, experiment and see what you come up with. If you like it better, fine, use it. If you like the one I just showed you right over here, not this one, it's an old page. Not this one. Sorry. If you like this one better, you can stick to this. But if you want to try out the ribbons containing your pack, so just same way, you just import them into your working document. How do you import into a working document? Basically, to do this, you just select your direct selection tool right over here, your move tool over here, and click directly on the layer you want to use. As we want to use let's say this one. Okay, scroll up because it's contained in a this image is not actually made up of just one layer, made up of several different layers. The layer we just clicked was the front layer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the whole group together. You're gonna right click on it. When you right click on it, you're gonna see dialog box. Click on duplicate group. Then look down under the destination and specify which of the document that you have opened on your Photoshop you want to send it to. Okay, so just locate the styling the background 3 file and click on OK. So when we go into styling the background tab, we're going to see this there. You see this? We imported it over from the other document. So basically we're going to just move it in place, transform it, Ctrl T, just transform it. What I'm actually doing here, I'm just stretching it until I have a good arrangement or alignment. So we have something like this. I'm just going to turn off the hit enter. I'm just going to turn off the layer that corresponds to the initial ribbon we designed. So here we go. This is the power of the graphics pack content. This is the power of the graphics pack content. Now you just successfully applied a more refined look to your design. You could very well create all this yourself, but trust me, it's going to take you time. It's going to take you stress, and you might not actually get a quality as good as this. So I advise you make use of the content of your graphics pack. Be creative, experiment with them. They are yours. Try out different things. If you're not working out, go back all over again and start all over again. So I'm just gonna close this off for the sake of people who don't have the graphics pack and used to go with the one we designed earlier. We're gonna style this a little bit. Let me just reduce the inner glow opacity a little bit so it's more refined. Okay, so we have this. Okay, this should serve for any site. And when I come back next, we're going to be adding our background to our header and doing some basic styling to the footer area of our site. So try this out, see what you come up with. Experiment with colors like I always say. If you get lost, go into your Windows, locate history panel, and just retrace your steps backward. Literally, retrace your steps backward. Everything you do is saved right here in your history panel. So you just retrace your step backward to when last you were very comfortable. So that's that for that. See you in the next video.